This podcast is part of the Dayspace Podcast Network. The opinions expressed on this show are of those individuals who say them and not of Dayspace Studios or any of its affiliates. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of EveryDay Schmoes Podcast. And this is the very first episode. We've had to redo the episode, but I'm your host, Greenie, coming to you from the Southern Comfort Studios. Joining me are two newcomers, kind of, to podcasting. One is very new to it, and the other had his own show and decided to let's do something different. So I brought along, I'm bringing along this time. You guys all know me. I'm Greenie. I'm bringing along Dapper Doug. What's up, man?
What's going on?
And we're bringing along. I'm proud to bring him along because he's another Bills fan. So
Go Bills!
Go Bills! Bills Mafia for life. But Kid Syko, we're gonna call him Kid Syko. What's going on, man?
Nothing much.
So what brought you into the whole wanting to get in on a podcast?
Never really did anything like this before. Ran into Dapper. We know each other from working previously, and he had said something about it, and I showed some interest, so we just decided to be something fun to do.
Right on. And Dapper, what made you get back into podcasting?
Well, I ran into a kid while I was taking my woman to go get tampons at the local Walmart, and then basically I'm bored. I'm a father, and I want to express my hatred for some things in the world and talk some shit.
Right, and not have it just be one main thing.
Yeah, I like to talk shit, and I like to talk shit to my friends. So why not try to make a hobby of it?
Right. So we did do an episode last week that got lost, and what do you guys think? What do you guys think as a whole? Do you think we gel pretty well as conversation wise and such?
Yeah, I think it went real well.
I personally think it did. I mean, you got two Bills fan and a lonely Steeler guy here, but we reign supreme, Steelers Nation. But I think we got a pretty good mix of characters here. We all got personality.
Yeah, that we do, and you got to definitely have personalities and put them out there for people to be like, oh my god, I want to listen to this show because there's a whole different mix of views and stuff like that. Yeah, so I know we said we're going to start with this at the end of it, but let's start off with it. Like, this show is, to describe what this show is basically going to be about, is EveryDay Schmoes Podcast is basically a show about everything. If you follow me from different podcasts like the Greenie Podcast, Plastic Silver Podcast, Uncommon Minds, you know that I talk about everything, and we're not just going to limit things here. We're going to talk about everything and give our views, not just on movies, music, sports, life, parenting. If these two schmoes here have some advice for people, professional wrestling, because we're all pretty big wrestling fans. You never know what's going to come on the show. We'll talk about it, but. So let's get on with our very first topic. Dapper actually brought up being a Steelers fan. The NFL season is fast approaching. We have training camps going on. We had our first Hall of Fame game. Did you guys catch the Hall of Fame game?
Bits and pieces.
I didn't watch jack shit of that game.
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it myself, and then listened to Colin Cowherd the very next day, and like Colin's like, oh, this dude's terrible, and he's not a prospect, he's a project, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, it's the first preseason game of the year, dude. Nothing matters until mid-season. Till you're mid-season, nothing matters. Do you guys feel like they overhype things?
Well, everything in life is about a hype. I mean, if you don't get the hype up, you ain't gonna have no following. But I think the NFL they need a saving grace in the NFL because they're in fucking disarray. If you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, I think they are in disarray. I think this whole national anthem thing is a bunch of bullshit. For them to say, okay, stay in the locker room if you want to protest it. It's not my honest thought on it is it's not about a fucking protest. It's about standing up for equality for everybody, not just one race. Everybody, and these guys are using their platform, the same platform that fucking LeBron James as a sports person is making fucking a difference in his community that he grew up in by building a fucking school and funding stuff like that. But yet he gets called dumb by fucking our very own commander in chief, which that's one thing I don't want to get into on this show is politics.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? but as far as athletes and hype and stuff like that, yes, there is a lot of hype to it that is needed. Are you guys? I know you're a Steelers fan. Are you excited for your rookies?
I'm kind of looking forward to the rookies coming out because I know how Steelers are always they're great at picking draft picks. I mean, if you look at the history of Steelers, they ace pretty much the draft every fucking year. I don't know how, but they do every single year. But I'm honestly the biggest thing about football that I'm looking forward to, and I'm very disappointed as a Steelers fan, is they didn't do shit with Le'Veon Bell, and I love James Conner. I would love to see him get more snaps, but he ain't no damn Le'Veon Bell. That's all I got to say about that.
But it's not a running back. It's not. It's not. The Steelers are not that kind of a team, though. They don't have that kind of money to pay him. But to keep putting him on a franchise tag, I think is kind of bullshit. I can agree there.
Definitely.
But the draft pick situation, I always look forward to it because we always pick stacked players coming out that no one's ever heard of or never gave a look at. We always take them and we groom them up to be great athletes. So I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Now, kid. Now, us being Bills fans, I've been watching the Bills practice on social media. Have you caught any of it?
I was watching a little bit of that scrimmage they had last night.
The red, white, and blue game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on how they're breaking everybody up and it's a whole competition and the whole message of we're all on one page, we're all here together for the same common goal?
I like it. I feel like it's bringing the team together, and I don't know that Buffalo has been that way in quite some time. I feel like there was a lot of 90s. People. Yeah, there have been a lot of people. I feel like they were out for themselves in Buffalo the last decade or so, and I finally now feel like with the Pagulas and bringing in McDermott and Bean, I feel like it's finally like a family up there again, and I like the direction they're going.
I like the direction they're going, and speaking of the Pagulas, they went out and spent some money on a draft pick or on a player with the Sabres. Now, if this trickles down, like I think it's going to trickle down, I hope they start spending money on Bills players. We need a franchise quarterback. I think McCarron's going to be the starter, and then it's going to go Peterman and Allen. I don't want to see Allen in there right away. This kid is decent. I'm going to say it here. Everybody else has said it, and some people have downed it, but this kid is truly the second coming. Go watch his tape. Go watch his tape from Wyoming. This kid is the second coming of Jim Kelly.
I love it.
Hey, I like.
What's that?
I like Jim Kelly. I always rooted for the Bills, man. I ain't got no hate against the Bills. I just don't like when they beat the fucking Steelers by 3 points.
Yeah. Those rivalries back in the day were really good with the Steelers and the Bills.
Oh, they were classics, man. There was classics.
Yes, they were. So are you guys college football fans? Because that starts up soon.
Oh, yeah. Go Buckeyes.
Oh man. So that's where we're gonna disagree there. I'm not a big college fan, but if I had to watch anybody, it'd probably be Penn State and Notre Dame. But I got a question to ask
I
you.
like Notre Dame.
Okay, as an Ohio State fan, what are your thoughts on the whole Urban Meyer thing? I think it's ridiculous.
I feel like it is. I feel like his wife had a lot to do with it more than him, but he's the one taking the fall for it. And the Zach Smith character, he's not helping him out by any means. If he did know about it,
well, he said he said he followed protocol via Twitter. He tweeted this long tweet.
Mm-hmm.
He said he followed protocol throughout the whole thing. He just misled the press, which I don't see any problem with that. The press don't need to know shit. He followed protocol. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This shit. You are guilty. As soon as your shit. Look at the whole shady thing. Everybody's like, he's guilty. He's guilty. Yeah. You ain't seen shit because he ain't guilty. The motherfucker was in Miami training with Todd Gurley III and a few other running backs, and why would he waste his time and hire some people or send his boys in there to beat up somebody when he's focused on making himself better for the season? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes back to the old adage that social media is fucking garbage anymore.
Fuck shady.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck shady.
I hope I don't know if we play the Steelers this year. I know we did last year.
No, I don't think you guys do play us this year. I think it's one year we don't have to deal with your guys' 3-point bullshit.
We'll run you over in the playoffs, but
there you go.
So, as I always do with podcasts, I host a Final Fantasy. We call it Final Fantasy Football. I'm hosting one this year. It's called Random Heroes Fantasy Football. When this comes out, there's probably a bunch of spots are going to be filled already, but I'll post the link in the description in case anybody wants to join or anything like that. But you two are in. How good are you guys at fantasy football?
I fucking suck at fantasy football. I played last year and I won 1 game. Maybe 2. Got pulled 2. That was it. My boy was Smith Schuster. That was it. That was my boy.
I'm relatively okay in fantasy football as long as I do not pick Shady McCoy as my first pick in the draft.
I did that last year by mistake.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I'm just like, I'm picking a running back. Because, like, everybody else is, like, picking up all the good running backs, and, like, I don't, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm not, I think what I'm going to go with this year is I'm going to go with a quarterback first, and then work my way down. Because this year's league's kind of weird because you get a quarterback, you get 2 receivers, you get 2 running backs, you get a tight end, you get a defense, you get a kicker, but you also get to choose another player that is either a tight end, wide receiver, or running back, and then you get to pick 6 bench players. So in Dapper's case here, if he wanted to, like he did last year from what I hear, choose all the Steelers.
No, what I did was I was smart as shit, and I picked AB. That will be my same strategy this year because AB is a fucking monster, and he's going to beast mode it again this year. So he's going to be my first pick. Then it's going to be followed by probably 4 other Steelers, but it's going to be all right.
You got the one thing you got to think about when you're really doing fantasy football is you got to think about your bye weeks. And you got to think about injuries.
That's a loss that week. In my category. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, but then you don't if you're not top seed, you don't get that automatic bid into the playoff and keep playing. The goal is to continue playing.
I have 100% faith in myself at all times.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I like switching my team like every week, to be honest with you.
Yeah. If somebody's not doing like, I'll switch my team. I'll get everybody that I need, but also like I'll make it so that like if somebody's not doing all right, and I don't think they're projected high, but I think they're gonna do low, I'll switch that right out because your bench player could do better than that starter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it all depends on each week, and you really don't know the NFL season until probably week 4 or 5. You know what I mean? That's when like all the early injuries and you know who's good and you know who's bad.
Yep.
And you always got to sweeten the pot and have somebody on your right hand to be able to trade with, because some people won't trade and some people will.
One thing I want to say about the college football thing real quick is no matter what happens there in Columbus, I felt bad for the kids in Penn State a couple years ago, and I hope they don't do the same thing again, is like the whole Penn State situation. Those kids, those players had nothing to do with it, and they took all that stuff away from those kids and ruined all their lives, I feel like. Like, how many of those kids didn't make it to the NFL? Or how many of those kids didn't get the job that they wanted after they went to school and spent all that money just because of some pervert pedophile that was doing stuff to people they didn't even know?
That was like top 5 and one of the most horrible things that ever happened in college football history. I think that's like top 5.
That was a giant.
But it wasn't the kids though.
Paterno got fucked. I mean, yeah, I don't know how he was involved, but he had to have been involved. He knew for how many fucking years, and now it's Paterno. You know, he knew every goddamn thing, every movement that was going on in that place.
Yeah. You know what? Though the thing is too is, you know, I hate to say it like this, but like he only knows. You know what I mean? Joe Paul only knows what really happened. I think he said something in the past and thought it was okay, and you know what I mean? He was up there in age. You can't. They tried to hang the man basically. You know what I mean? For something that, yeah. They also hurt those kids too, and I hope, like you said, kid, that they do not do what they did. It's not that bad, but you never know what's gonna happen. All right, on to the next thing. So it's finally gonna happen, guys. You guys know everybody knows about it. McGregor.
IRA, baby.
Through a what is that? A dolly through a bus window at Khabib, and only got a misdemeanor for those, and for all that. And he seriously could have injured some people. And now, October 6th or 9th, I think it's the 9th, we're going to have McGregor versus Khabib. And I think this is where Khabib is going to straight take and fucking destroy McGregor and get his fucking revenge. I think Khabib's got this. Khabib's got it in the bag. McGregor hasn't fought in a long time. Think about that, okay? Khabib's a badass.
And the last couple times he's got his ass whooped.
All right. I'm gonna do this. I'm the true Conor McGregor fan here, so I'm gonna let Kid go on his rant first if he wants to talk about this, and then I'll go last because I got some interesting shit for you. I got some shit.
I love McGregor, the Irishman. I'm Irish, so I'm definitely in his corner, but I feel like Greenie on this one. I feel like this is going to be Khabib's revenge. And after the incident in the airport and then the dolly, I'm just looking forward to a good fight. That's all I really want to see. I don't feel like there's been a good fight in UFC in a long time. Actually, I feel like tonight's UFC might be good. Garbrandt and Dillashaw, too. That's going to be a good one, I think. But there hasn't been a good fight. They're all like, I feel like I stay up because I watch all the UFC fights, and I feel like I stay up all night, just to see a first round knockout, and I'm so tired of that. I want to see a fight go
You
the
know what
distance.
that reminds me of? You know what that reminds me of? Is the days of getting Tyson fights and being all hyped and going through all the prelims, and as soon as you get to the Tyson fight, you're like, yeah, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and 1:05 the fight's over, and you're like, what the fuck did I just spend $80 on?
Yeah,
Oh, you sort of mean like the Connor and Aldo
Mayweather.
fight. That's what
Oh,
you mean?
yeah.
That's what you mean? That's what you mean? Like
I
that undefeated motherfucking Brazilian that he won, checked him one time on the chin, dropped him. That's what's gonna happen to Khabib. Quote me on that shit. He's gonna drop his ass because he leans his chin in and leaves that right fucking side open every time. Connor can knock out anybody with that right hand.
You want to go beard for beard on that one?
Yeah, what the fuck? Hell no. I got sponsors that'll get mad about that. I can't do that to them. Shots out to Bang Bang Beard Company out there in Arizona. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Conor McGregor is a genius at controversy. Look at this. When it goes to the first press conference, I'm telling you right now, it might come to blows right there. Because this is what UFC created. That whole controversy, you created that. You put the fucking money that you did in Conor McGregor's hands, and he was getting welfare in Ireland, dude. He came from nothing. His first fight, they gave him the fucking world and keep giving him the world. Dana White knows he's the greatest money maker he has there, no matter how much controversy he gets. Conor McGregor will ever be. He might be the greatest fighter of this era right now, period. What he did with Mayweather, that was history. That was just a fucking joke anyways. But he will knock out Khabib. I'm telling you that right now. He's going to end his shit with knocking him out.
No. I don't think so, man. I think here's what UFC has become, okay? And Joe Rogan said it on his podcast, and people shit on him for it because of this. But
Joe says a lot of shit.
But UFC has become WWE scripted bullshit hype. Look at it, okay? Look at what happened with Brock and Daniel Cormier when Brock come into the octagon. That was a WWE scripted fucking promo right there.
Okay, if that's the point, Greenie, wouldn't you think that Dana White would let his golden boy win the match? You think he would let it? Picture this. Picture this. Dana White's boy is Roman Reigns, and that's Conor McGregor.
Okay, that's a really sad analogy because Conor McGregor.
No, he's entertaining.
No,
he's entertaining.
Wait.
I'm just saying.
Conor McGregor is over as fuck, and Roman Reigns is not. Well, after the other night, he probably is. But anyway.
You know the damn analogy I was throwing out.
Yeah. But here's the thing. McGregor is money, but he is money, but everything comes to an end. Just like Ronda Rousey was money in the UFC. Everything comes to an end. He's going to get fucked up, dude. He's going to get fucked up and fade away. Speaking of fade away, a man went on a beer run and brought a gator in the store with him. And from what all accounts that I've seen, this is a Florida news story, by the way. I think it's down by Tampa. This dude did not remember picking up an alligator and running into the convenience store, grabbing a case of beer, paying for it, and leaving with the alligator in his arm. I sent you guys the link. What did you guys think?
I literally cried laughing the whole time.
I was laughing my ass off. I mean, was that the same dude that was tranquilizing gators and fucking them?
No, different dude in Florida. Different.
Oh, that would have been classic if it was.
That was more towards like Key West, the Keys, and down that way. No, man. Like I'm gonna start. I'm gonna add. Here's the thing too, guys. With this podcast, EveryDay Schmoes Podcast, I'm bringing back every week a new Florida man story because there's so much of it. Because I live here in Florida and I can tell you from firsthand experience, this is a whole fucking different world down here. This world here is like Rick and Morty, a whole new universe.
Yeah, you
Everything
guys got,
crazy. Go ahead.
no, you got some crazy shit going down there in that Florida water, man.
Oh, you talking about red tide and
Yeah, you
Lake
guys
Okeechobee?
yeah, you guys got some shit going down there in Florida, man. You
Okay,
guys are nuts.
okay. If you really want to know the backstory on red tide and why everything's dying in Lake Okeechobee, the main reason is because Rick Scott, when he became governor, he made a deal with Big Sugar that they could dump, and they dumped in their chemicals, leftover chemicals, into Lake Okeechobee. And when red tide comes, usually it breaks up, and it's not breaking up. So what red tide is. When red tide dies, it basically sucks up all the oxygen in that area. So the wildlife is dying off and coming up onto the shores and stuff. We got manatees, we have fish, we have every stingrays, everything. The main problem is because they're trying to say it's high red tide and because of the environment and blah blah blah. It's because of the sugar too. It become you go and research it, people. I'm telling you, it's the truth, man. That's what's going on. Don't let fucking mainstream media tell you bullshit. Go search for yourself. That's what the problem is. And when Rick Scott gets elected to be what is that? He's running for Senate or something. The next person in charge hopefully brings more awareness to this because there's not going to be very much wildlife left if this keeps going on. I guess Dapper, you've seen a lot of things on it.
I've seen a couple clips here and there, browsing through the web. I've seen a few things, but if you want to look up something, all you got to do is type in Florida. You always find some grade A news down there. You always find some crazy ass shit about Florida going on. I got family down there in Palm Beach, so
Yeah, that's down by Miami.
yep.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the Florida news of the week. So Dapper, you had this crazy idea, and you might not be crazy, but Paul Heyman may be crossing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. But here's the thing. I read an article that stated that as of Monday night, the storyline is that Brock is done with Paul Heyman. So, does the WWE keep him around and give him somebody else to work with, like maybe a Ronda Rousey or maybe a Roman Reigns, because Roman does need a mouthpiece? Does he help Roman win the belt and then Braun come in and cash in and then he's with Braun?
The reason why I brought this up was because I've been calling this for some time now. I mean, I'm a Heyman guy. I'm a Heyman guy all the way around. But I say this because at the last pay-per-view that we saw with Heyman and Brock, it seemed like there was some shit there too. But after the Raw, it pretty much it told a story that yes, he's about to turn on him at SummerSlam. If he doesn't, I will be truly shocked. But I see him all the way going with Roman Reigns, or he's just going to start a whole representation of all the MMA people that are coming over. So, if he goes with Reigns, Reigns can turn heel. All Reigns has to do is perform, put on grade A shows. Heyman it will be his mouthpiece. Heyman has to stay in the WWE because they know what he's worth. They know what he can do with young talent. Yes, he's done some stupid shit in his past, but Paul Heyman is the greatest mouthpiece, I think, besides Jimmy Hart, that has ever been on the fucking mic. He will be with Roman Reigns. I've been predicting it for so long that just seems like it's going to be what it's been leading to, is them being together and getting that heel turn.
I like that. I really, really want to see a heel turn from Roman Reigns because he is so dry. So dry. I just can't even stand watching it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, kid. He's a waste. He's wasting his talent because when he was in NXT, he came out in the tights. He came out in the little trunks, and he actually had some talent. He showed different moves. Now he's just 4 or 5 moves, and that's it. And then he's back in there getting a title shot. He's got to get that turn.
The biggest fault that WWE did with Roman Reigns was after the Shield breakup, and Dean went his separate way and did his character, and Roman went his way and did his separate character. Here comes Roman, same music, same clothes. Why didn't we change Roman Reigns up at all?
Yeah.
And if you really want to build a stable with Roman Reigns, this is how you do it, okay? You bring in the Usos, and you bring in AOP, and you bring in Paul Heyman, and you have Roman Reigns, the Usos, AOP, and Paul Heyman as the mouthpiece. There's your stable.
I've been hearing that same exact thing on a lot of shit I've been seeing on the internet, Greenie, about the Usos and Roman Reigns. I sort of like it, but I don't like it. I like the whole Roman Reigns and AOP angle because AOP is dominant as shit. They're talented as hell, and they could make... Yes, Usos are high flyers, but Roman's not a high flyer. You're trying to sell him as that brawler type. So it would fit more to put him with an AOP style person. Look at Paul Ellering's gone. So why not bring in a person like Roman Reigns, main event status?
Speaking of Ellering, his daughter is going to be in the Mae Young Classic. No, that's Tully. Oh. Yeah, she is, but she's going to be under a different name.
Yeah, she was in it last year too, I believe.
Yeah, I think wasn't Tully Blanchard's daughter in it too?
Yeah, Tessa Blanchard. Yeah,
I love Tessa. Yeah. She took on fucking Brian Cage, dude.
I do know ex-TNA Knockout is going to be in it too. Miss Velvet,
yeah, I've seen that. Sienna.
Velvet Sky.
I saw Sienna's going to be in it too.
Yep, Velvet Sky is going to be in it. The only one that's not going to be in it because she's under contract with TNA still and getting paid, but she has been spotted at the she's been spotted with Bubba at the Performance Center now and again. But what's her name? His girlfriend.
Rosemary.
No,
Velvet Sky.
Yeah, Velvet Sky. Yeah, Velvet Sky. But Summer. Which one? It's one of the not. Okay, there was Velvet Sky.
Angelina Love,
and what was the other one? Madison Rain.
Yeah,
Madison Rain's going to be in the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, but I saw on Velvet's Instagram that she was not going to be involved in the Mae Young. She actually said that, unless that was just hype up shit.
She's probably not. She might be helping backstage.
I would be surprised if Velvet Sky actually performed, but I can see
the Hardy Boys said the same thing all the way up to WrestleMania.
Yeah. And they were even booked the night before WrestleMania.
Yeah, with Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Young Bucks, and they lost the strap.
Yeah, they lost the belts. Yeah, the ladder match. Yeah.
And the Young Bucks even said it. They're like we hung out with them afterwards, and they didn't.
Yeah, like yeah.
And if you watch the thing they did for WWE behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Big Show was like, you guys ribbed me.
Yeah.
You guys told me you weren't any. You guys had to go home, and they were right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, anything's possible. Do you guys think? Speaking of women and everything, with WWE's Evolution pay-per-view, we all know that TNA did it years before, but this being WWE, they're the only one. Do you think they're gonna bring in past superstars, female superstars, and do you think we're going to see a lot of the NXT? I know all 3 belts are going to be Raw, SmackDown, and NXT women's belts are going to be on this pay-per-view. I also know the finals of the Mae Young Classic are going to be on it, and I think the main event is going to be on the main event. It's going to have Ronda Rousey in it.
I would like to see the women's tag belts debuted in that pay-per-view.
I read an article the other day that suggested, since WWE and Fox signed that deal, that they're going to take the brand split and do away with it and just have one main roster. And if they did that, I would say let's drop one title. Let's drop the Universal title. Let's just have the WWE Championship. the Intercontinental Championship, the United States Championship, the male tag team belts, the women's belt, and the women's tag team belts. There you go.
Where's the IC title?
He said that.
Yeah.
Where's the? Oh, all right. I didn't think I heard that.
The only belt you're dropping is the Universal title. That's it.
You have to drop that title.
And you can go back to storylines and you can build and everything like that.
I feel like the Universal title has been the most irrelevant title of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And then if you do this roster, if you do just one main roster, you can have these storylines carry over to SmackDown, and you can also have, you know what I mean? And you can also have Randy Orton face a whole different crew of people because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't like it when they did the brand split. I was never a fan of that in the first time, and definitely not the second time around.
I don't like the brand split at all, but I mean, I don't like it at all. Fucking period. I like it when it's main roster because you got so much talent in that place that you can do way more with. Way too many people are sitting on a bench. But with titles, I honestly feel that the IC title, the Intercontinental, which has the most history of all the straps that are in wrestling, that should be brought up way more. That should be the number one title they're fighting for.
I agree. That's one of my favorites.
What title?
I mean, the history that has gone back with the IC title. I mean,
I remember. Yep, I remember when you had the IC belt. When I was a kid, you knew that you were being primed to be the next guy. Like you knew that. Yeah. Now it's just here. We're gonna give it to Dolph. Oh, now it's time for the Miz. Let's give it to Seth Rollins for a little bit. It drives me crazy because the IC belt is truly one of my favorites, and I love it that they made it white again when Cody made it white again. Yep. And I thought then that's gonna bring it back, and they never really. The Miz was one of the best IC champs in my opinion in recent times, and I wish they would have kept it on him.
Listen, okay, the Miz brought the IC title back to relevant, and he said this a bunch of different times too, that was the purpose. As soon as they said to him, "Hey, we're gonna put the IC title on you," he says, "Okay, I'm gonna make this the main event," and he did. The IC title was relevant again. The honky tonk, no disrespect to the honky tonk man being a Hall of Famer, whatnot, whatever. Fucking him in his IC title run because he held. If you go back and listen, that motherfucker held that thing hostage. He didn't want to.
Oh, he fucked over Macho Man. So yeah,
he didn't want to work. He didn't want to take bumps. He didn't want to do anything. And then when they said, "Okay, you're gonna drop it to the Warrior," he was like, you know what I mean? And that I would like to see that belt get back to the point where, hey, we're gonna put the IC title on you, like you guys said, and you're gonna be the next. Let's get back to that. And I think I read an article today that said that Vince is slowly stepping back and giving Triple H more power, Paul Levesque. I think this is good. I think in a way it's good. I think all of this stuff moving forward is going to get better, but if they don't improve with Raw, I think you're going to see Fox say, okay, we're going to move SmackDown from our main program and it's going to go on to FS1.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what's going to happen now? Are they changing? They're not going to be on USA anymore now? They're going to be on...
SmackDown's going to be on Fox on Friday nights. Raw is staying on USA Network.
Okay. Just regular Fox?
As far as I know right now, yeah, regular Fox. But this deal's worth like $1 billion. So
and they're moving it back to Friday night too?
Yeah, Friday night.
So that makes it available for anybody if it's just on a regular Fox channel then too, which is nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to have cable then.
Right. Which, would be... Yeah, that's the ideal thing there too, but I really think that if they really need to just crush...
I feel like Friday's a bad night for it, though. I didn't ever like Friday night for it, because so many people are out doing things that you're never going to get the viewers.
Yeah, DVRs, but I think if they're going to do it, I think they, like we've been saying, they need to do it soon. They need to just, like, if Brock's going to lose the belt, let him lose the belt. Let Braun cash in. Let Braun have the belt, and then split take the split and merge it together and figure out what you're gonna do with the titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're not going to let Braun. They're not going to let Braun have that title. They're not going to let him. They're not going to let him have it.
He's ready.
They're going to fuck him over.
I feel that way.
You know, Nakamura's contract's up and coming up soon. And do you guys think he's gonna stay with WWE, or do you think he's gonna go back to New Japan?
New Japan. He's going back. He's going back. They made him resort to low blows. Shinsuke don't. He's truly talented, and they got him doing low blows on fucking people. Are you kidding me? That's WWE Vince McMahon bullshit.
Yeah, that's why I can't wait for Triple H to get it.
Yeah, let him get it. Let Vince pack up shop and move, man. Like, he needs to go retire on a yacht somewhere and chill.
Never, dude. That's the thing. He's never gonna retire. But you know what I mean. He's never gonna retire, but he will give. You know, he might go sit at home and or just phone in the shows, or be watching and calling in and be like, "Hey, try this. You know what I mean? But if he's really gonna get into the XFL, he definitely needs to step back from the WWE. Raw sucks, plain and simple. It sucks, man. It's the same shit over and over and over. Where SmackDown, you guys know that who's producing SmackDown, right? Road Dogg. Yeah. That's a genius, right? I'm not saying he doesn't have help, but how they're running that show, that's awesome. It's like, you know what I mean? It's better than 3 hours of. I can't do 3 hours. Like,
I'm over the 3 hours.
Yeah, Raw is excruciating sometimes. They definitely need to cut that back.
I mean, I come from the era of growing up on wrestling, where on Monday nights we had one TV in the living room on Monday Night Raw and one TV in the dining room on Nitro, and we would just flip back and forth. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Early '90s. You know what I mean? That's prime wrestling there. I grew up in the days of my grandfather watching wrestling, so and just getting into it and knowing the in story and the out story, and I love wrestling. Speaking of another wrestler, Dapper, you were talking about Aleister Black.
Yes, he was. He got injured recently at a Las Vegas house show. I think he was wrestling Tommaso and was at a house show in Vegas. He tore his groin, and that's going to put him on at-risk type mentality that he might not be able to make it for takeover. So what is going to be the scenario for that? Is Gargano going to get his shot because Aleister's hurt, or where's the storyline going to go now that he's hurt? And we don't know how long it's going to be. Normally it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for that to heal up completely, but you know how WWE is and how they take care of their talent. They're going to push him back a little bit longer because Aleister's talented as shit and they can't waste that storyline. So we don't know if he's going to make it to TakeOver. So what's going to happen with that, I have no idea.
Yeah, I seen a podcast with him the other day talking about his injury and talking about his character before and his character now, and really good dude. I wish him a speedy recovery when he comes back, if he does come back. If not, I'm sure they have somebody else in there in mind.
Going to be Gargano. I'm telling you, that's if Aleister can't do it, it's going to be Gargano, and then we're going to have the same thing again with Gargano and Tommaso. But I think that Tommaso and the Aleister Black is way more interesting of a storyline because you got the Devil and you got the Devil. I mean, Aleister Black is talented. I support that dude a lot. He's main event status pretty soon if you were to push him to Raw. He needs a big push, real big push.
Oh, speaking of a push, I see you got a Bullet Club shirt on there. Are you Alpha Club? Are you Y2 Jackson? Are you?
I think I'm gonna go Y2 Jackson. I love the Young Bucks, but I'm I don't know. I don't know yet. It's hard. I love Omega too.
Yeah, did you see Kenny busted his lip open?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was bad.
hmm
Bad.
There was a lot of blood.
He just like came up, and I'm like, oh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Y2 Jackson though. I've always been a Jericho fan. Jericho-holic.
I was reading somewhere the other day about Jericho that he's the one that's been helping with TNA and Lucha versus, and now it's TNA or Impact versus Ring of Honor, and he's like, basically I sat down with everybody and said, hey, let's do this, this, and this on my cruise, and they talked to their, he's like, it's everybody knows everybody. He's like, we're in the middle of nowhere, so nobody can get mad. You know what I mean? So, do you think we're gonna see cross promotions coming soon?
I would love to. I would love it. I've always said ever since WCW was gone that we needed something else because I honestly feel like that's why WWE is so dry because there's competition out there, but if you're not a big wrestling fan like the three of us, then you don't see that wrestling.
Yeah, and plus Vince has been quoted as he doesn't watch anything else other than WWE.
Yeah.
And that's your big mistake because I just I want to say last week I went to an indie wrestling show in Erie, and it was Revenge Pro Wrestling. I'm about to go to another one on the 21st of this month. It blew my socks off. I mean, that was just an indie wrestling, and they performed very well. There was it's indie wrestling, so you're gonna see some pretty bad pulls and pretty bad situations going on. Guys getting hurt. One guy blew his fucking knee out, but they put on a great show. But WWE, they need to look at the indie guys. Triple H does. You know he watches all of those dudes. He loves Marty Scurll. How can you not love the villain? The villain is a great character, even though he hates it sometimes. He doesn't think they push him far enough. But if there was no indie wrestling, you would have none of this talent coming to the WWE.
Well, it's already been said that like it's already been said kind of in secrecy, but not out in the open, that Vince has people listening to other podcasts and watches Twitter and all the social media and reports to him on, hey, this is going on here, here, and here, and they take care of it internally. You know what I mean? So, you see it on podcasts where WWE superstars are on. Some of them, they can be candid, and others, they can't. They just give you that standard answer.
Yeah, wrestling's gonna have a lot more cross promotion, and I think it's good. I love what Jericho does. Jericho was a revolutionary to the wrestling business. Everything Jericho touches turns to fucking gold, man. Jericho is he's the shit. Jericho's the shit, and he always will be. He's good for wrestling.
Hell yeah, he is. All right.
Rock and roll and wrestling.
Speaking for the good of wrestling. Reports have been out there that WWE is looking at trying to reboot the NWO. Hall, Nash, and Hogan were in Tampa at Hogan's store on the beach with TV crews. Nobody knows if it was WWE or not. My question to you two is, do we need another NWO? And if the WWE brings it back with Hall, Nash, and Hogan, should they be just managers? And if they're trying to bring in a stable, who should they bring in?
You want to touch that first, kid, or you want me to go?
You can go.
All right. They should not bring back them old fucks. That was a great thing while it lasted, dude. NWO was great while it lasted, but have any of you seen Scott Steiner in fucking Impact?
Yeah.
Did you see that little shit he was making?
Horrible.
He looked like a fucking piece of shit. Like, I love Scott Steiner, but he looked horrible. Like, there's a time to just quit things, and the NWO needs to do that. Now, if they did bring it back, they should definitely not perform because it's going to be sloppy as shit. And if fucking Hulk Hogan does that leg drop, I might puke. But I'm not a Hulk Hogan fan, and I never was. But they would be managers, and I have no idea who they could really pull off to be in the NWO, really, besides a Dolph Ziggler. Everybody's been saying Seth Rollins. Realistically, I don't see Seth Rollins ever going an NWO type of way because he doesn't do good with authority. Yeah, he did that little stint with Triple H, but he ain't meant to do that shit. Shield and that's it. That's all for Seth Rollins. So all I can see is Dolph Ziggler for right now being in an NWO type thing.
All right, let me throw this at you, okay? You have Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hogan, strictly as managers, and you have the biggest heel turn ever when Hogan turned to Hollywood Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they bring out Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Drew McIntyre, and John Cena.
Ah, shit.
The second biggest heel turn ever.
I would probably root for him then.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Think about that. Cena's always said that he's always wanted to turn the heel, but they've never wanted to pull the trigger on it. And the one time that they did pull the trigger on it, Vince nixed it that night. So, this would be fucking money. Think about it. The second biggest heel turn, next to the night that Ole Anderson turned on Dusty Rhodes when he was in the cage match with the two Masked Intruders and Nikita Koloff.
So basically, what you're telling me is there's going to be one semi-old dude, followed by one young cat, followed by three old as shit fucking wrestlers that can't barely move, with the master of thugonomics. I swear to God, if I have to hear that stupid Apple do shit one more time on his theme song, I might slap a fool. That would be so stupid. Yes, that would be fucking amazing from a heel turn from Cena, but you need something more depth than that. Like, Dolph doesn't need any more lifted up. Drew McIntyre doesn't either. You need somebody in that mix that they would, like a rookie. Let me throw this name in there. NWO grabs two young talents. They grab Velveteen Dream from NXT. And then they go grab a guy like, let's say Bobby Roode. Just for a little thing. He don't need much development, but he needs some WWE type material in his shit because he's used to TNA and all that shit. Still is. But Velveteen Dream would fit in that type of thing where they would develop him. They need that kind of shit. Not Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and bum-ass Cena.
I like Cena. I don't know how I feel about McIntyre and Ziggler. I would love to see KO.
KO would be
NWO.
good.
Yeah. Kevin.
Fit that perfect, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night after we had talked about it, and at first I was like, I'd love to see a Finn Balor or even the Good Brothers because the original Bullet Club, and it was based off of an NWO type thing, so I think they would do good. But then after I thought about it for a while, I feel like Kevin Owens would be perfect. He can talk good. He is one of my favorite heels right now in any promotion.
All right. I thought about it. I had a little light bulb. Joe, kid, that was a great thing. Kevin Owens totally would fit in NWO. Now, Dolph Ziggler would fit heel. Throw the Miz in.
That's what I said.
I like that.
That's what I've already said. The Miz. I said.
Throw the Miz.
Okay, so you got Hall, Nash, and Hogan as managers, doing the outside bidding. Blah blah blah. You got Dolph. You got the Miz. You got Kevin Owens. And you're
See, I don't know how I feel about them as managers with those three though, because those are three amazing talkers too.
Oh, they could be performers too. I mean, they.
Oh yeah, for sure, all three of them.
But you still need that.
I would hate to put a manager with them to take away from their talking, though.
Yeah, but you still need that young guy. You need that developing cat.
So you put
You
Velveteen
need that
Dream
Velveteen
in there.
Dream.
Velveteen
You
Dream.
need him.
I like the Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen is the greatest thing in NXT right now.
Put Ricochet in there. I wouldn't mind that.
Ooh, Ricochet. Talented, but not NWO mix. He don't fit that standard.
Ricochet is going to get sent to 205.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hate it.
No,
So
it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
Yeah, I can see it getting better. I hope it does, because there is a lot of new, fresh talent coming.
Well, why would you put Ricochet in 205? He competed against heavyweights like Mil Mortez and fucking
Yeah.
It's WWE.
He can pick those dudes up.
They're trying to build the 205 brand too, because I guarantee the women are gonna get a show on the network soon.
Oh yeah,
Guaranteed.
yeah. I was thinking that same thing. I wish they would sign more of these girls from the independents. Hopefully after this Mae Young thing, they are.
I think after Evolution.
Tessa Blanchard.
What's that?
Tessa Blanchard.
Yes.
Tessa Blanchard needs to get signed, man.
Yes.
She went up against Brian Cage at Wrestle Circus.
Mm-hmm. I like her. I like Taya from Lucha and Impact.
Yeah.
Even Allie Impact. I like her a lot. I seen her in Erie here a couple years ago at an indie show, and she was called like Cherry Bomb or something.
Yep,
then, but
I know who you're talking about.
I liked her a lot. Taylor Hendricks. I saw she's gonna be in the Mae Young Classic. I seen her here in Erie. What's that?
Rosemary.
I like Rosemary. She was supposed to be in the first one, but I don't know what happened.
I know she got that shoot. She had that shoot fight where fucking Sexy Star fucking dislocated her in Japan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then when she tried to come back to Impact, she re-aggravated it. So
that's another one. I'd love to see Sexy Star. I think she's an amazing performer.
They don't want to compete. They don't want her in WWE. She's too dangerous. Yeah. After that New Japan shit, they didn't want that to happen. They said no, ban that girl. They won't let her in. Like the fucking Miz hates her. Dolph Ziggler talks shit about her all the time. Sue Young would fit in WWE, but her character would get fucked with.
Yeah.
The Undead Bride, man, she would fit in WWE. She's like a fucking mankind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the women getting, if they ever get their own show on the network, they gotta give them. If they're bringing all these women in, they definitely gotta bring in a tag with team belts. They did it back in the late '60s, early '50s. With the WWF, and they had them for a short time, and then they got rid of them. But to bring they need them because they have so many talented women, and they're only using them here and there, and this and that. And it's like, all right, let's build them on a tag team division. If you're gonna put them in a tag team match, holla playa, you're gonna get a tag team title match.
Becky Lynch needs a title because she makes me smile when when she has a title on. I love Becky Lynch. Heel turn.
Yeah, she needs a heel turn.
She'd be a great heel, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of, before we wrap up the show, some crazy stuff. We were talking about a pre-show. Brian Christopher Lawler, also known as Grandmaster Sexy, passed away, along with Nikolai Volkov and I can't think of the third man's name, but
Brickhouse
Brown. And Brian Christopher is his death is being investigated. He was found hanging in his cell after a DUI. Lawler told him his dad is Jerry the King Lawler. He told him to sober up, and that was the last he heard of him. You know what I mean? So there's some stuff going on, but Dapper, you said somebody had some stuff to say about him?
Oh, yeah. ECW Legends. Well, first off, we're going to start off with one because he said the most shit was New Jack. Now, everybody knows New Jack is an asshole, and he talks a lot of shit because he never really made it too far besides ECW. He told... And he put a tweet out. I think he put like 5 tweets out, I think it was.
Yeah, I saw that tweets.
He talked about how he had absolutely no mercy for Brian Christopher's death. He said, well, that's fitting. And then, quote, unquote, he said, Jerry, why don't you go hang yourself now? Like,
he called Jerry he called Jerry the King Lawler a child molester.
Yeah, it was a horrible statement at the worst horrible time. Like that's never a right time to say something like that. And then Sabu was a second, but he was more indiscreet with his things. He was more respectful, I feel, but he still said some shit that shouldn't have been said about the dead. You don't say that. You don't put ill feelings on the dead. But
Yeah.
New Jack crossed the line, man. I mean, he crossed the line. You do not say shit like that, man.
Right. I agree with that.
Jerry's suffering no matter what. I mean, I don't know how their relationship was. There was a lot of turmoil there. I don't know how Jerry was. I don't know him personally, but you don't say that shit about somebody that's living or dead. You don't say that.
I found it the most hilarious about Brian Christopher was when he was Grandmaster Sexy and Lawler would be at the desk with Michael Cole, and they would just go off on how it looked like he was supposed to be Jerry Lawler's son, and Lawler would just deny it all day long, like nothing was going on. And like I'd be like, dude, is it? And I'd ask my buddies, I was like, is it really Lawler's kid? And my one buddy's like, no, yeah. And nobody really knew. And then when the age of the internet, all of a sudden it came out that he was Jerry Lawler's kid.
I still remember the days when he would bust out the worm and shit, and Jerry Lawler would be like, what the hell is going on in that ring?
Scotty did the worm.
Oh, Scotty Too Hot, he did the worm. Yeah, he was screaming all the time. He hated those characters, man. He hated them.
Right.
Because Jerry was one of the greatest heels. He was a great heel, too. I mean, and then Brian Christopher, he was one of the best faces. Like, he had a good personality to be a face, so.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the show. If you guys like this, we'll be back next week for another episode of EveryDay Schmoes Podcast. Thanks for listening, watching, or all that good stuff. Till next week. Peace.
All right.
Later.